Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Extra Time, the U.S. Men's National Team Soccer Podcast. I'm Tim. I am joined here by my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down the USA-South Korea friendly that happened yesterday, over the weekend, Saturday, in New York. We were super close to attending that game, but it was also Black Swamp Arts Festival weekend, which is one of the biggest art festivals in the country. My wife was in it. So a lot of moving pieces. We conceded to just watching it at home, which given the score line was probably for the best. So we're going to break that game down. We're going to talk about the highs and lows. Are we as pessimistic as everybody else is online? Are we optimistic? Who knows? You're going to have to stick around to find out. All that is coming up. All right, Ryan, United States falls to South Korea 2-0. There are so many places that we could start in this game. It feels like there's a lot to talk about and also not a lot to talk about, depending on the perspective that you take. Where do you want to start this one?
So I watched the whole game, right? Obviously, the outcome is not desirable. Like we want to see the U.S. win, regardless if it's a friendly, if it's a World Cup game, if it's a Gold Cup game. So it's a little unfortunate to see them drop a game to South Korea, who, not a bad team. Ranked top 25. So
let's start there. The United States has not won a game against FIFA opponents ranked in the top 25. My gut says that means we're not a top 25 ranked team, or if we are, we're like 23, 24, or 25. Because does that sound like a fair assessment?
Well, how many of those losses are friendlies? So let's see. We played.
So just because it's a friendly, it's not going to affect the ranking at all.
No. Why would it? It's a friendly.
So then
they don't.
Well, so then how are we going to come up with rankings?
Through competitive play.
We're not
playing anybody.
So limited,
we're not playing anybody.
I know, but it's so limited, the competitive play that we're going to see.
Right, and I know against South Korea we played a good chunk of our starters, right? But Blackman played. It's his first ever call up.
Correct.
So we're still looking for the U.S.
We're still looking for. So let's go to that then, because I think you're onto something. So frustration from the fans over. We are in now 10 matches to go before the first World Cup game. Okay, so there's 10 matches left. Everybody would have been expecting that maybe the starting lineup is not solidified, but at least the players on the squad are solidified. You and I not really surprised that it's not solidified. Very obvious, given the players called up into this camp, that Pochettino is still looking for the remaining, 5, 6, maybe even 9 guys on the roster. So when we look at the starting lineup, we have a couple guys getting called up. Okay, the first one is Blackman. Blackman getting called up, and he's going to see a starting spot in this, right? We know that we're not deep at center back position. We know that we're struggling in center back. Not surprised to see a center back get called up. The frustrating call up for me is last minute we're bringing in Christian Roldan. That to me is just bogus. This guy's like 100 years old. He's not going to be on the World Cup roster. At least he better not be. He's not really doing anything for us. And not only does he get the call up, he winds up seeing playing time in a friendly where
he's
the
playing
roster,
well for Seattle.
But the roster that we're seeing here looks like he's looking for the final set of players. Roman Calitano and Nathan Harriel. Those are 2 other players that we have not seen yet that he's now seeing in camp, but we haven't seen on the field. Those were the other 2 call-ups. So 3 call-ups, and I'm guessing one of them couldn't go, which is why we saw that Roldan is still in there. So positives of the starting lineup, negatives of the starting lineup. Which one do you want to start on? Positives or negatives?
I mean, for me, there wasn't, and you could have a completely different view on this, which is fine. I didn't think there were that many negatives in our gameplay in the game against Korea from what I watched.
Mm-hmm.
Blackman made a bunch of mistakes. It's new, and I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? He's never played on the world stage like that before.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, it's unanimous that
Correct.
Blackman should, that's it.
Correct. He struggled a lot. Would it be weird for me to see Pochettino give him another chance come Tuesday? No, he could. Because we're looking for that. He's got the jitters out. He's got the first game. I don't know what the tempo is going to be like. I don't know any of that stuff. It's out. It's gone. Throw him back in there and see how he bounces back. Because in the World Cup, you could lose that first game. How does the team then respond in the second game? Maybe Pochettino wants to see that.
If we lose our opener with an expanded World Cup, we are in trouble. But I get what you're saying.
We could lose the second game.
Right.
Like,
in theory, we should.
So.
But I agree with you that there weren't very many negatives, right? If I'm looking at the squad and I'm looking at the players, Blackman was a glaring negative. Now, the argument could be that he's a glaring negative because he was so bad. But I actually don't think that that's the case. I think he was a glaring negative because, like you said, there weren't any others. Nobody else on the field put us in a position where Korea was able to capitalize and beat us.
He made a bunch. So watching, I can recount 5-ish mistakes that he made. 2 of them resulted in goals. Right? The other ones don't result in goals because either he gets lucky and gets bailed out by another defender, or Korea makes a mistake of their own.
Right.
Right? And that, could happen, period. But I don't know. It's just, should we...
The good news
negatives,
for him...
like, we didn't score. That's a negative, right? Like, it has to be.
I'm just
You're not going to win a game if you don't score.
Sure.
Should we have scored? Yes.
Realistically, how many? I didn't look up the line on it because they have like the XG for like whatever the projected goals were.
I think we were at 1.4.
Okay.
At the end of the game, and Korea was at like 1.1.
Based on that, you expected, yeah, okay.
So, should Balogun have scored? Yes.
Especially in stoppage time there at the end.
Yep. Should Chris Richards have scored? Yes. He's just not expecting the ball to get to him, which is
crazy because that's like the only play we have going for us is Berhalter to Richards.
Berhalter played well, I thought, in the midfield. Pulisic played okay. He didn't really see that much of the ball. I think when Balogun came on, he played fantastic. Chris Richards, when he came on, played great.
Boy, was it nice to have Serginho Dest back.
I will say this. Alex Freeman, when he came on, looked okay.
Yeah, he looked fine. He's somebody who's growing into it. Arsene is still lost. He's still lost. Offensively, he's fine. He's very good at attacking, and he gets involved.
He made a couple good defensive tackles.
He did. He made a couple good defensive tackles. And maybe it was just because Blackman was so much worse. Son Heung-min is such a quality striker that the silver lining of this game is we got to see an actual true result of what happens when defenders make mistakes. Because when you play in CONCACAF, you got a lot of strikers that can't finish. And so the United States gets away with having terrible mistakes, giveaways out of the back when we're trying to build, like just a bunch of nonsense. And in this game, when we made mistakes defensively, South Korea punished us. And the thing that's frustrating to me is that South Korea was always going to play on the counterattack, right? They played with like a back 5 that was going to turn and attack us, look more like a back 3. They were going to play wide on the wings, and they knew that they were going to counterattack with Son, let guys overlap on him and play. So the fact that we had the better of play, the fact that we had better possession, is great for us, but there's also an argument that it doesn't mean anything because it's exactly what Korea was expecting. Korea knew we were going to play this game, right?
Down. It was more of like I'm fine with Korea playing that game, but we need to take advantage of that then.
Well, and how many more games are we allowed to say that? Because you and I have said this for years now, that the United States struggles in the final third, right? Pochettino comes in like a couple games into his tenure. It looks like we're going to be different. It looks like we're being more direct. It looks like we're attacking more. And in the last sequence of games, we've gone back to, as soon as the team puts on a low block, we're just kind of lost. Like, we don't have initiative.
But I wouldn't say we look lost in this game. Korea may have switched to a low block, but I think the U.S. was able to overcome that once the subs came on, like the 65th minute.
Now, but do you think we did that because the subs came on, or do you think it was because, hey, guys, you're down 2-0, and the coach's direction was, I really don't care if we get scored on, go get one?
Who knows?
Because when I'm watching us play...
Regardless, that's positive. Because before, we wouldn't generate anything if the other team had a low block. This time we generated, 4 or 5 scoring chances?
We did, and that's fair. We did. We generated a bunch of scoring chances, but
so now you just need to score.
We struggle. So to go like kind of player by player, right? If we start up front, right, and we're looking just up front, Josh Sargent, okay, there's a conversation to be had about him, and there's a conversation to be had about the U.S. number 9 position, the U.S. striker position. I want to start with just the U.S. strikers. I don't think it's fair to take striker after striker after striker and say they can perform at the club stage, they can't perform on the world stage. Because the United States, the way that we play, we don't get our strikers involved. So it's not a surprise to me that our strikers can't perform on the world stage. It's not a surprise to me that our goals come from every other position on the field, not the striker position. Because if we were getting the ball to our striker, like when Josh Sargent had the ball, he was fine. Did he wow us? No. Did he get goal-scoring opportunities? No. Is there an argument to be made that he could have been in a better position? Sure. But the way that we attack the ball as a unit, as a team, is possession. If you watch it, I would argue it was over 70% of the time when we won the ball from South Korea, our first touch went backwards. Like, when Luna got the ball, when Berhalter got the ball, when Adams got the ball, even when Pulisic got the ball, right? Nobody won it and then looked to just say, like, is it on? Is the attack on, right? I've won the ball in a turnover. Can I release somebody, right? And especially Arsene is just get the ball, knock it back. Blackman, get the ball, knock it back. Why? Like, you guys aren't, it's not like they looked up the field and then went, there's nothing and played it backwards. They just like, it's like they're robots. So first touch goes back out. First touch goes back. The first, you know what I mean? Like, is that the impression you got?
Play style he wants.
But that means, like, it's not surprising to me then that our striker can't get involved when we're not looking to get our striker involved in the game, right? Now, you can make the argument that Balogun comes in and looks different. You know, I think Balogun's a better player, period. I don't necessarily think it mattered, too much about our play style. We've seen Pepe get involved, right? I thought Pulisic didn't get involved in the game as much as we thought. And I'm saying this because it was 25 minutes in before I realized he was on the field. Like, Pulisic came across to the left, and the announcer said his name, and I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, so all in all, I think the U.S. played a decent game. The result is not what you want. But I think Pochettino gets a lot of information. A lot of information from that game. And that's, as much as people are like, oh, there's only 10 games left, that's what Pochettino needs right now. You don't get many games with the national team. So any game where you can get a lot of good information is helpful. He got a lot of good information there. Whether it is guys he wants in the midfield, guys that are strong on the ball, guys that are going to be not afraid to shoot or take guys on, guys that nerves and, mental gets to them, all that kind of stuff. And I think that will help us in the long run more than just getting the results. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the Japan game on Thursday and you see a lot of those guys that didn't play well starting as you made mistakes in the one game. It happens. How can you recover from that? And can you show me that you can play world-class soccer after making a mistake.
Well, and we
And
know that. Sorry, you finish.
yeah, and if they can't, maybe they're not on the next roster. Like if Blackman starts against Japan and the same thing happens, right? He struggles,
Right.
he looks lost, he makes mistakes. We probably don't see him in the October camp.
Well,
Like
we know
we
that this
don't
is their only chance because Pochettino has said this is the last window for guys to prove themselves, which
Correct.
means theoretically, when the October games come out and the November games come out, those players that show up on that roster can allow. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath from the media perspective, right? Because that first roster is going to come out and people are going to be like, "Holy smokes!" Like,
Correct.
guys left off, guys not on. But if we're looking at the current starters, right? Matt Freese in goal. I think currently, given the climate around the goalkeeping situation in U.S. soccer, it's always going to be like a 50-50 kind of toss-up. I don't think that that's like that this is a hot take, and I don't think it's outrageous to believe that Matt Freese could start for us. Like if we found out Matt Freese is starting in the World Cup, sure, there's going to be people that are upset, but I don't think that many people are going to be surprised. When you look across the back, right? Serginho Dest, it was eye-opening just how much we missed him. Right? Those first 25 minutes of this game, the amount of chances that he generated, the amount of attack that he had carrying the ball from the right wing position into the attacking third of the field was insane, right? South Korea is a good team. They're a top 25 ranked team. They have upset teams the likes of Germany when Germany was ranked in the top 5. South Korea is a good squad, right? They play quality soccer and they play in quality leagues, right? Tim Ream still looks solid, right? Yeah, his age is getting to him a little bit, but not to the point where you're thinking this guy can't cut it. You're going, okay, it's 10 matches. It's next summer. He's probably going to hold on for the World Cup, and then he's going to retire from the international stage, right? So at least those two guys are like, okay, Max Arfston, you're really missing Jedi Robinson. We've talked about this before. We know how much of an impact Jedi Robinson is going to make on that left wing. So now you're just going, I need a center back, but we've watched Chris Richards. Correct. So now we're going, okay, if I'm thinking about the back four, we're going to see Dest, Richards, Ream, and Robinson. That's going to be the starting four. And from a U.S. soccer fan perspective, you're thinking over the next 8 months, can these guys stay healthy? Right? Can they not get hurt? We know that, Dest coming off injury, Robinson's come off injury, Robinson's missed stuff before.
And as much as like you're not a super fan of them, Cameron Carter-Vickers as a backup center back is, in my opinion, decent. It's not like an A+ for an A+, but it's like an A+ for an A-.
It's like an A for a C+, but I see where you're going. It is better than Mark McKenzie. It's better than Blackman. I think he's terrible. But I get what you're saying. And the fans love him. There are a lot of people who are like CCV is fine and he could be a player that steps in there. Outside of the formation of our midfield,
he's big and strong, which is what you need. He can and
yes, and that's true. He's big and strong, and that is something that you need. You need guys that are physical, and he at least gives us an option for teams that want to play maybe a holding striker, and not like Korea, because the other difference is Korea is playing Son, and Son wants to counterattack. He wants to dribble at you. He wants to beat you. Whereas other countries are going to go, I'm going to play the ball at this guy's feet. He's going to distribute. So looking in the midfield, Tyler Adams, like you could tell he's improving every day, right? He's a little bit better than he was. Sebastian Berhalter, I think he's only got a spot if we want a set piece taker. I don't quite think he's to the level of some of the other midfielders, but Giovanni Reyna has really fallen out of favor. Gianluca Buzio is nowhere to be found. So there's,
don't know why.
We don't know. I mean, Yunus Musa has kind of come in and out of the squad. Johnny Cardoso has come in and out of the squad. Like, people are trying to make an argument for Aiden Morris. Like, there's a lot of nonsense going on in the midfield, and I don't think it's that volatile. I think it's actually more solidified than we want to admit. Diego Luna, loved him in CONCACAF games. Really not impressed when we've had to play against higher caliber teams.
Oh, I thought he played well in this game against Korea.
I thought he played fine. I don't think he's not the Diego Luna that was energetic, dominant, controlling things in CONCACAF. He was definitely like, what?
It's also a friendly. Is it easier to play at 110% in a game that doesn't matter?
No, right. I get what you're saying, but I'm just like, if you're trying to earn your spot on this thing, right? Timothy Weah, that seems like a no-brainer. Just don't punch people. I think we're fine. Christian Pulisic is obviously going to play here, right? Just don't get hurt. And then you're probably going to see, from what I believe and what I'm hearing, Balogun with Pepe on, incoming in reserve. Maybe you see Josh Sargent. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes, I'd rather have height, and brings in Ajimang or Haji Wright. Personally, I'd rather have Josh Sargent as the third, just because I think the championship is still a high-quality team. But
I think Sargent starts.
For the Japan game?
Just come the World Cup.
Okay, that is a hot take.
If he's staying in the form he's playing in, he's going to be our starter.
And that's a possibility. Oh, and I forgot to mention Jonathan Klinsmann was also a call-up, a player that we hadn't seen before.
A goalie? Yeah.
Yeah, that was also something we hadn't seen. Damian Downs probably didn't have a chance. Luca De La Torre is also in the midfield questioning.
No.
We saw Alejandro Zendejas try to come in and do something. I think Alex Freeman's fine as a backup, but he's also playing in the same role behind Joe Scally, and I think Joe Scally's a step up on him, unless Freeman wants to play out on the left. And then Jack McGlynn, who has been able the good news is we have a lot of players that are in this conversation and a lot of players that are B players, whereas
McGlynn's was another set piece taker.
That's
in my opinion.
Now, if we're going to talk about set pieces, Christian Pulisic's set pieces were awful. They were some of the worst things I've ever watched in my life.
He shouldn't take them.
He shouldn't take them. Every corner kick, he couldn't even get it by the first defender. It was what are we doing?
Berhalter is a much better set piece taker. And I think I've always said that Christian Pulisic should not take our set pieces. People can go find the clips of me saying I love Luca De La Torre too, and how I just said I hate the man. Mm-hmm. And just, post those everywhere under this video and just make me look like a complete idiot. That's fine.
They could.
But if Sebastian Berhalter, Jack McGlynn, Gianluca Buzio, Giovanni Reyna, I'll even put Luca De La Torre there because he takes some set pieces for San Diego, right? If they're on the field, they should be taking set pieces over Christian Pulisic.
100%.
Unless it's a shooting one. And even then, after what he showed us in the game against Korea, I'm not sure I want him shooting.
Oh my gosh. So if we look at the game as a whole, right? From a stats perspective, the United States outshot Korea 17-5. Yep. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, shots on target, it was only 5-4. So when you think about opportunities, legitimate goal-scoring opportunities, Korea's right there with us. They convert 2 of them. We don't convert any, right? That's obviously always going to be the biggest headline. If you look at it objectively, did the United States lose? Yes. The game played itself on a storyline and a narrative where if you replicated that game 100 times, it's going to be 49 wins on one side and 51 wins on the other. The game
you would hope.
The game was very close. Neither side was very dominant.
It might be 100-0.
It might be correct. It might be 100-0. But if you're looking at what you're expecting to see in the World Cup, the United States certainly can compete. And it's not because when people asked me before, when I was leaving, the family was there and they were like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to watch U.S. soccer." And they said, "What do you think's going to happen?" And I said, "Oh, we're going to lose." And they said, "What's the score going to be?" I said, "We're going to lose 2-0. Now, I wasn't expecting it to be 2-0 in the 43rd minute.
35 minutes?
Correct, 35 minutes in before the second half. I was expecting it to get a lot worse. But it was reminiscent of the Netherlands game, right? Here we are in possession, in control, and the ball turns over and we fall asleep for 1 second and we get scored on. That's international soccer. That's high-level soccer. You cannot fall asleep. Right?
Yes,
you can fall asleep if you're going to punish the other team when they fall asleep. And Korea had a whole bunch of times where they fell asleep, and we couldn't punish them, right? Because we're not direct, we're not going forward, we're screwing things up, and the likes of that. Possession, it 54-46, right? Passes are about the same, pass accuracy is about the same, fouls, right? Now, there wasn't a VAR. People can rip me for this one, but you agreed with me, and normally on these, you're the person who's hate to break it to you, Tim. That was a reality.
It was
the first goal looked offsides. It looked pretty offsides.
Since I texted you saying I think he's offside, I've watched highlights back and I've watched angles back that I didn't see on the live TV, and it is so close that it could. I still believe he was offside.
Right, Ream's foot could be holding him on for sure.
No, it's Blackman that
It's
would be holding
Blackman's
him
foot.
on.
Okay, but the right foot could be holding him on, but it certainly didn't look that way, and it looked close enough that you would have expected the media to go to
Yes.
VAR, which made me believe there wasn't VAR.
Correct.
Because
I
you
don't
would have
think
expected
there
them
was.
to go to it and be like, we're gonna just check, right? But you didn't hear it. So anyway, does that like change anything? No, it doesn't change anything because I mean, if the United States doesn't go
might.
down, right, it might. But like, if the United States doesn't go down, like, did we get the
Does the
opportunity
game
to
end
score?
0-0?
Right. It might end 0-0. Right. It might end 0-0. What I liked about the game was, Korea pressed the whole time, which caused the game to be a real game. Because Korea could have scored a goal and they really could have just packed the box in, right? But they didn't. They were playing this really high press because they knew we were going to build out of the back. And as a result, we saw a lot from our defenders because, man, we just couldn't figure it out. We had so many opportunities where we just turn it over and turn it over and turn it over. Why? Because we're always looking to go backwards, right? I mean, to me, like, the sole takeaway was Blackman's terrible. Like, just horrible and should never set foot on the field ever again. And I wish that I could express the rage that I felt when Christian Roldan came on. Like, I wish I could. The amount of rage that was in my body when that man got subbed on, just like,
I was honestly more upset Diego Luna got subbed off than I was Christian Roldan came on.
No, that didn't bother me. No, that didn't bother me.
I don't, as much as like I don't like Christian Roldan either. He's old. I don't think he was ever as good as people thought he was, but he has been playing very, very well at Seattle. And Pochettino has made it very clear that he's looking for how people have been playing,
right,
when he makes his decisions, which makes complete sense to me why Roldan came on.
Right. So now let's go into what you and I do best, which is
and as much as you hate it, Christian Roldan came on, and
I literally could care less what he did. He could have come on and scored a hat trick. He
could
have come on and scored a hat trick. I don't care. He could literally, the man could have scored a hat trick, and I would have been like, there's still no reason he should be on our squad. Like, there's just no reason. It's the same way I felt about Landon Donovan when he was past his prime and clearly not on the roster. Why is this man coming into friendlies? Like, there's just no reason.
Shaq Moore.
Shaq, same thing. Bye-bye. Like, I don't care about any of these players. So the thing that you and I...
ahead.
That you and I do really well. This is the thing that you and I do really well. You're looking at this U.S. squad. You're looking at the games that they've played. You're looking ahead to the World Cup, right? Did the squad that stepped on the field in this Korea game give you any reason to panic about our performance at the home World Cup?
No.
Right, and that's how I feel. So for all the alarm bells that are going off and people going, right, I didn't feel that way. I actually went, wow, we played really well, and the ball didn't bounce our way. And if the ball bounces our way, like, my brain is going, this squad has a chance to make a deep run.
I also sit there and go, okay, the 2 goals that got scored on don't probably happen if our starting 11 is on the field.
Right.
Right? Because Chris Richards isn't going to get beat and stand around like the second goal, like Blackman did. Hopefully. I guess I don't know, right?
No, but Chris Richards has been dominant. He blocked a bunch of goals and shots before.
And Chris Richards has played more with Tim Ream to know this is where I need to stand. So that first goal, Son is most likely offside.
Correct. And if we're being very specific, they've both played in the Premier League against Son on Tottenham.
Correct. No, Chris Richards didn't.
Yeah, he played Crystal Palace.
Oh, yeah, but I thought you meant on the same team. Like
No, but I'm just saying they've both played against him. Correct.
And now let's look at left back, right? Anthony Robinson, right? Jedi Robinson. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's so much more attacking presence down the left wing than Maximilian Arston.
Right.
Right? Okay. Go to the midfield. Even if our midfield is Berhalter, Adams, McKinney, Musa, right? I'm still stoked about that midfield.
Yeah.
Right? And then if our strikers are, if then it's like Weah, Pulisic, and Balogun, Weah, Pulisic, and Sargent, I with the expanded format, I will find it very unlikely that the U.S. does not win 2, draw 1.
Or win all
in their group.
It seems very unlikely the United States is not going to win all 3 and then win it. Like, I think it's going to be win all 3, win that first one, then the games are going to get hard.
Correct. And there's a chance that our group is, there's a team that's a little closer to us in rank and we come in second. Right? It's possible. Do I think it'll happen? No, because we get to be the head of a group, which means the first team that's going to be in our group is going to be like in like a Wales or an Iran.
Right.
Which we have shown that we could beat. So
we have. And if you go back to previous World Cups, right? The United States, the only things that we get are those friendlies right beforehand because we're constantly playing in the Hex and all of the CONCACAF teams are what happens. And so you look at the last World Cup, we don't beat out Canada. Every single commentator from Hercules Gomez to whatever Jimmy Conrad to all the to Lexi Lawless to Stu Holt to all those guys are all losing their minds because oh my gosh, we can't even beat Canada, da 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 da. And then we outperform all those teams. Yes, we lose to the Netherlands. Yes, we get outclassed. We've come a long way from there. This streak, I don't know if you've gotten to see the games that are coming up, right? We are only playing top quality ranked teams, okay? The next window is like the most maybe because like Australia's in it and somebody else, but then we go Uruguay and Paraguay. So we're going to go South Korea, Japan, Australia. I think it might be like Bolivia again. Uruguay, Paraguay as 6 of the final 10 games.
It's Ecuador.
Ecuador, Australia, or is it Ecuador, Paraguay?
Ecuador, Australia, then Paraguay, Uruguay.
Right. So think about those 6 teams. We went from playing like Bosnia, Herzegovina, Saudi Arabia, and now we're going to go, no, right? So for all the nonsense you're giving against Pochettino, right? Like you and I always say, yes, trophies matter. Yes, wins matter. But this is the 2026 World Cup. It is on home turf. We are paying Pochettino $6 million a year to do one thing, which is win the World Cup at home. That is it. That is the only thing that we care about. We could drop all 10 of these games. And if the United States makes the final in New York City, no one's going to care. And you can make the argument that if we drop
I would even say if we finish third in the World Cup, no one's going to care.
Correct. Now, if the 6 teams that we were about to play were all in the bottom 50, like if we were playing like I literally don't even know teams in there, but like the Ivory Coast, and we're playing like St. Kitts and all this is like nonsense, right? Like New Zealand, and we're gonna play
Nigeria,
right? Like teams that are like fine, but they're not ranked in that top 50, and we lose all those games. Yeah, dude, we're doomed, right? But he's setting us up. Correct. The U.S. Soccer Federation has set these guys up for the most intense set of games that they're going to play across a calendar year to get ready for the World Cup. If we come out 500 through that stretch, if we come out maybe 600-700, right? We win 3/4 of the games, right? We go out, we beat Japan. We're 1-1 in this stretch. We maybe draw Ecuador, beat Australia, right? Like you're starting to see it come alive and you're starting to see this hope. That's what we need. Because the thing that we're really trying, U.S. Soccer is trying over the big haul is we're not a soccer nation. And how do we make us a soccer nation? We have to play big teams. We have to get results. We have to draw the hype. Right? We're already going to be at a setback with ticket prices. Why? New York City, look at the fans. It was overwhelmingly a home game for South Korea. It was an overwhelming home game. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at tickets to United States, Japan coming on Tuesday. The cheapest tickets I can find that I will sit in the nosebleeds, right, in the upper deck. Now, granted, it's the Crew Stadium, and so it seats 20,000, so the nosebleeds really aren't that bad. It's $140. And so I'm literally sitting here going, I don't know if I want to do that. You and I paid $70 a piece to go to a World Cup qualifier against Honduras, right?
Yep.
If it was I paid $220 for a World Cup qualifier against Mexico. Again, World Cup qualifier. This is a friendly. To me, these tickets for the friendly, maybe front like in the first 4 or 5 rows. Sure, maybe 110, 150, but they're like 3 something, right? Like I don't understand what we're getting out of this unless they think that many people are going to travel. Because we need, and maybe they will. Maybe they know, right? It's capitalism. It's the market. Maybe they'll get there because New York City was pretty packed, right? It was a lot of people in Tottenham jerseys. It was a lot of people in South Korea jerseys. It was a lot of people there to see Son. We have to be careful that we're not just going, capitalism's going to run rampant, and we're going to sell these tickets for what they're at, because when the World Cup rolls around, international people are going to buy those tickets and travel, and the United States fans won't. And we're wasting this amazing opportunity. But that's a conversation for another story, or for another day. I thought from this game, am I frustrated that we lost 2-0? Yes, but I didn't turn my TV off going, oh my gosh, we are absolute trash. I can't watch this team anymore. I was like, if my emotions aren't getting in the way, we played great. We played fine.
Yeah.
We struggled in the final third, but really 2 goals on a counterattack that were kind of like opportunities, and they both come from Blackman. I'm not that worried because I wasn't thrilled about Blackman.
So what do you think for Japan? Score.
I think the United
States got the Korea game right.
I think the United States can turn it around and we can beat Japan 2-1. I think we can.
So my prediction is 1-1.
Okay.
I think it ends in a draw.
Who gets the goal for the United States?
Josh Sargent. He breaks his drought.
Josh Sargent breaks his drought and gets a goal.
Mm-hmm. He has looked. I don't know how much of Norwich's games you have watched, or if you've watched any highlights.
I haven't watched any of the highlights.
He looks so good for them.
I'm going to go
and
2 goals. Timothy Weah, Chris Richards.
All right.
Chris Richards.
From Berhalter?
Off a set piece. Because I think we have the height advantage, and if Japan gives us anything, any set pieces and free kicks, I think Richards will be able to convert, because I think we got that figured out.
And Sargent has 5 goals in 4 games in the Championship League in England, which is, I don't care what league you're playing in.
That's not nothing.
If you can score, like, if you're in one of the top 3 leagues in a country in Europe, and you can score more than 1 goal a game, that's impressive.
That's very impressive. He's certainly putting up the stats that we need to see. He's very impressive.
So, and he turned down, if I remember hearing them correctly during the game, transfers to Division 1 teams because he wouldn't start and he wants to play.
Because he knows, because our players have figured out if they're not performing, they don't have a shot at playing in the World Cup. And the World Cup means everything, especially on home soil. So you're going to see players that are going, I would rather play than go to a team and sit on the bench. Because we're actually seeing it. Matt Freese is starting because Matt Turner's not playing.
Yeah, he is. He's playing for New England.
No. Yeah, now he is. But he wasn't playing when he was overseas. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Correct.
When he was overseas, he wasn't. And that was the argument of, like, buddy, you can't ride the bench for Liverpool, right? He was like Liverpool's back, or was it Arsenal?
It was Arsenal for a while. Then he went to
Crystal Palace.
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest, and then Crystal Palace.
Played a little bit.
Yep.
And then went to Crystal Palace, played a little bit, and then got benched, and then is now back.
And now he's back here.
But
all right, so last question.
Yep.
Are these results, it's twofold. Are the current results enough to warrant Pochettino getting let go? Is there any possibility over the next 8 months that Pochettino loses his job?
No, for the first one. And the second one is no, unless, like, a scandal happens.
Okay, so barring something personal or business-minded in his world,
like
there's no result the United States men could put up.
Correct. I mean, okay, if we get blown out 10-0 in a game, maybe.
Right, but again, realistic stuff. We drop every game 2-3-0 from here to there. Like, the fans might be irate, but I don't think U.S. Soccer's turning away from this, man. Yeah, and that's how I felt. And I'm bringing it up because State of the Union was chatting about it. A bunch of other people were talking about it. And that's how I feel. Like, you don't pay a guy $6 million. You don't put everything on the World Cup. You don't bring a guy in with only 2 years to go to then schedule hard games and then not perform great in those hard games and then go, well, now this guy's got to be out too. Because really, who else are you bringing in? Because not going to be Jesse Marsh. And it's not just because he's with Canada. It's because you watch what he did with Canada. So it ain't going to be him. Right? All the other coaches that are in the MLS are not going to do it, right? So, like, I don't think there is. I think it's either going to be Pochettino crushes during the World Cup and we keep him, or whatever happens in the World Cup happens and we say, hey, man, it was worth a shot, and we say, see you later.
Steve Cherundolo.
It could be. Cherundolo could be the next men's head coach, but we'll get there when we get there. So, Ryan, any final thoughts?
Bring Gianluca Buzio back.
Agreed. Let's bring Gianluca Buzio back. All right. You guys can tear us apart in the comments. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. The United States Tuesday against Japan in Columbus. I might not be there, but I might. I don't know. We'll see how much I can push myself into doing that. As always, really appreciate you guys giving us a listen. We can't wait to hear from you. Go ahead, share this video, like this video, subscribe if you want to continue to hear two hooligans talk about this stuff. We will catch you guys probably Wednesday, Thursday.